What's up, Mario? So I don't think I've done one of these for you before. So the way these work, the way I do them is I don't look at them first. I don't go through it first and then record the video. I record my live reaction, my live questions to what I'm seeing. And yeah, you'll probably find it quite. It depends what happens in the race. It can be quite an interesting process. So let's go through it. First question. Did you know the guy behind was on softs? Or when did you find that out? I guess you probably didn't realize at this moment, but let's see if it becomes obvious. Not really catching you for being on softs, is he? I would have thought he would be all over you. He should be all over you, to be honest with you. But I guess you're faster. Okay, that was nice and respectful. So Jeff Johnson. He holds the throttle there so as to make sure to not hit you. So yeah, seems like a clean guy. I don't. These race reviews aren't focused on driving technique. So when I see driving technique issues, for the most part, I won't comment on it. That is mostly for like if you want a lap analysis done, a time trial lap analysis. That's what we'll talk about technique. What I will say though, very briefly, just because it's a bit more related to potentially affecting your race, is try not to do this. I'm sure you already know. If you hit this wrong, it can spit you out over the other side and cause you to run into the sand. These particular cars don't like it. They get away with it because they've got a ton of downforce. So that's why it gets away with it. But yeah, can definitely ruin your race. What I'm specifically talking about is only hit the red part of the curb, not the green part. I'm sure you know this already. Okay, so had you figured out that he was on softs at this point? Because you've got quite a gap to P3. Just curious. It's not critical because being on softs, his strategy is wrong. It's not the quickest strategy. I don't know if it was a mistake or deliberate, but it's worth considering whether you were aware of it at the time. So even though it's not critical to the race, just being aware of these things demonstrates improved mental bandwidth while driving. So while racing, with improved mental bandwidth, that generally would indicate that you're calmer, you're more in the flow, you're less stressed, you're less anxious, and you're able to make better decisions. So that's what I'm angling for with were you aware that he was on softs? Because if you were aware, then yeah, the mental bandwidth while racing is improving and therefore you're going to make better decisions. Wait, hold up. Hold up. I guess I just answered my own question. Well, you may have just thought he was faster than you, but you're indicating left and holding right, so you're telling him to go past. Good, I like it. I like it. Um, Definitely, it's good race management here. He's probably not going to be able to do it because of the right-hander. I mean, he does anyway. We've just seen that he doesn't, but because it's not a straight, because the inside line is faster, and these cars have got enough downforce to hold the inside line, I think he would struggle to actually get past you here. But I like the effort for sure. Yeah, and he nearly kills himself. Just got. I mean, I know that's not you doing this; it's him. But if you are in this situation, turn gently. Like if we turn and look at his steering input when he does this. Yeah, you got to be really gentle with the steering in these things. He was lucky not to run off. He's clean though. He's definitely trying to race you clean. It's interesting. He probably thinks you're on softs at this point because the two of you are breaking away. So he probably thinks you are on softs and you're not. Yeah, your driving's really improving. I mean, it's a bit, it's a little bit, what's the word? Scrappy in places. Um, but these cars on this track, it's not easy. So I can excuse that. Don't worry. Almost in the 46s. Okay, so we're indicating for him to go past again. That's good. This is the better place to do it because it's just on a straight. Nice little lift there. Yeah, I was going to say. Good, very good driving here. Very good race management. Definitely, I would lift as well if I was letting someone past here. If you're fighting for position, you can go side by side through 130R in these cars. But if you're letting someone go, just lift. Don't waste time. So, yep, good job. But those tyres are about to start equalising. He's got about half a lap before they start to equalise with your tyres. I guess you realised he was on softs at this point. You're consistent. I mean, look at that. 47.1, 47.0, 46.9. That's very good. At the end of the day, consistency is everything because the more consistent you are, the more you can say, right, okay, I'm going to change one thing about what I'm doing on one corner and then become consistent with that and then get quicker. So, yeah, that's really good consistency here. That's a vision problem. It always is. I do the same thing myself. When you the rotation's good, the line's good, the braking's good, you just got on the throttle too hard too early, and that is almost always a vision problem. So you probably let your eyes drop down a little bit without realizing it. Just remember, train yourself, do that, keep doing that vision drill. I personally find I'm better with vision in the race than I am in time trial. Weird thing that, but yeah, that is classic vision issues. That is. Well saved though. So I saw in the write-up in the text for this, you said P1 with a billion mistakes. So obviously you win. I get that much. In terms of mistakes, like there's not been anything glaring until that mistake running off the track at turn 1 was the first real big mistake. Everything else was excusable within your skill level. At my level, the mistakes you're making would be big mistakes for me, because I'm running. Well, you're doing low 47s, almost 2 seconds quicker, 1.5 seconds quicker. So the little mistakes you're making at your level don't really matter. At my level, they do. So they will have to be ironed out eventually. But in context for your skill level, this is the first real mistake you've made. So I'm pretty pleased with that, honestly. Yeah, you've improved a lot. Right, now what I like there, probably I don't want to say famous last words, but what I like there is that you didn't let one mistake become another one. So again, the initial running off track doesn't really affect your race that much, I would imagine, not with the pace that you've got here. But if you let it become another excursion off track by not mitigating the effect of that, the damage of that first mistake, then that becomes a race affecting mistake. So, yep, really good to see again. Yeah, not a little mistake there, but again, it's excusable for your level. And the pace has dropped off a bit, but you'd expect that by about lap 5. It's funny watching you drive here, watching what you're doing, and does not seem that long ago that this was me. Like, you can drive, right? You got a very powerful car here with a lot of downforce, and you, to all intents and purposes, someone watch this who hasn't got a clue about sim racing, they're going to go, man, you're fast, you can drive. It's insane the details that you refine as you get faster, the tiny little things that you do, and the placement of the car. That's the biggest thing here, really, is the ability with the 3 inputs that you've got, the brake pedal, the steering, and the throttle, is the ability to place the car exactly where you need it to be. It still blows my mind that there's more than 0.6 of a second between me and P1. That's absolutely mental. And I'm P21 global. So, yeah, well, that's Damien for you. if I'm just, again, there's not a lot else to talk about, so I'll just pass comment on some of the driving technique stuff. Braking rotation is good. Just coast, because you're on the throttle immediately. There's no coasting there at all. And so when watch the throttle input, put your eye on the throttle. See how it's ages before you hit 100%? If you just coast here, coast, 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 now go on the throttle, you'll gap this guy by 0.2 of a second. And you'll gap yourself by 0.2 of a second. Yeah, so again, that comes down to mental bandwidth. Like, I used to be so much more focused on my actual inputs when I was at this level. At your level, I'd be driving, really thinking about my braking, thinking about my steering, my throttle, and trying to feel that I'm doing the right thing. Now I don't think about it so much anymore. I just faster, slower, pick up the pace, slow down. Everything just happens much more automatically. So I don't know what state of mind you're in, what you're thinking about at this time, but I think that's where the advice to drive the car comes in that last video I did. Really just have a figurative eye on what you're doing with the inputs and try to replicate what you're doing in time trial, but hold back like 5%. So don't brake at the same place you do in time trial. Brake tiny bit earlier because you're on medium tires. The tires are worn down. You've got fuel. Coast a tiny bit longer. Essentially, you want to drive exactly the way you do in time trial, but take 5% off of it. So what this screams to me, I mean, I haven't looked at your time trial lap, but not coasting here, this screams to me probably a little bit of, for want of a better word, panic to try and get away from this guy. You're eager. That's the word. You're eager to try and break him. And it's a weird mental juxtaposition because getting on the throttle too early actually makes it harder to pull. You're not pulling away. You're going slower than you're capable of. You've actually got to be more patient and get on the throttle at the right time, and then you start gapping people. I'm just guessing. You let me know whether I'm right there. About your state of mind, there is. I am definitely right about the coast, about what you're thinking, where that mistake might be coming from. Okay, got away with that. So when you run off track, don't know if you know this, when all 4 tires go off track, you have dirty tires for 30 seconds. When only 2 tires go off track, you have dirty tires on that side for 15 seconds. So what you can do when you run off track, look at the lap counter. And if it was only 2 tires, then you've got to count 15 seconds. And so a quick bit of mental arithmetic while you're on the straight, you're going to have dirty tires for spoon, is what I'm driving at. So if you are aware of that, you know you can hang back a bit through spoon because the right-hand tires are the load-bearing tires for a left-hand corner. So the timer would have started right now at let's call that 59 seconds. Yeah, well managed. That little slide, that's the dirty tires on the right hand side, and that's why you run off track here. That's funny actually, because you now get dirty tyres on the left side. But that's not so critical because this is now load-bearing tyres are almost clean. So not almost, about 3 seconds away. Well, hello. Let's see what happens there. Okay. I'd say it's stuff like that that needs to tidy up in A+ territory. So, don't know what this... I know this isn't your main, so I'm guessing this isn't an A+ account, but guessing it is an A ranked lobby, and maybe 1 or 2 A+ in here. I don't know. You let me know. But if you keep winning, then this account's going to be A+ as well. Well, not keep winning. If you keep driving like this, you're going to be getting top 5s, podiums quite easily. Sorry. Didn't manage to mute the microphone first. My apologies. Yeah, so stuff like this needs to be tidied up for gaining DR in A+ lobbies. I think that would be a fair assessment. Oh, of course you got a penalty for that. There's that lack of coasting again. Yeah. You release the brake and then you immediately drag the throttle. So, since there isn't a lot else to talk about, that is something you need to be aware of in the race, and you will go a couple of tenths faster over the course of a lap if you can just force yourself to coast. Let go of that brake, look around the corner at the exit, add more steering, and tell yourself to be patient, and you will gain a couple of tenths a lap, guarantee it, because you're losing a lot of time. Look how long your throttle stays at 50% for. We should already be pointed like that, which you would be if you coasted, which would allow you to be more aggressive on the throttle. And it's not just this corner. You're not coasting in any corners, but this is the one where it loses you the most time because it's the biggest coast, being a tight corner. Yep. This is a massive amount of time loss. And I know that's within your skill limit. It's not a skill issue that you can't coast. We're just asking you to not press the throttle. Do everything the same and don't press the throttle. It's a mental training thing. But yeah, we should be at 100% long time ago. Finally up to 100%. And yeah, if you look at a top 10, no, granted this is race, not time trial, but you look at a top 10 replay, they're at 100% way before this. And that's why they vanish on the exit. Okay, so we lost the lead for the first time. Okay, so you're choosing to go for fresh tyres at the end. Fair enough. I prefer that strategy too, by the way. How are you in the lead? He had a penalty. How long? Why can't I see his penalty? Oh, wow. 3 seconds. That's why you're in the lead. He crossed the pit lane. So again, mental bandwidth, were you aware of that? Did you manage to figure this out? Or did you just come round, oh, I'm in the lead, great, and then not think about it? Or is there 20% of your brain that can go, why am I in the lead? Again, doesn't affect your race, but if it's something, if these thoughts are beginning to happen whilst racing, it demonstrates an increased mental bandwidth, which in turn will mean improved decision making when it matters. Obviously, it doesn't matter much in this race. So you're quite smooth when you're not under pressure. I'm the same. Still no coasting. I'll show you on all the corners, actually. I might as well. There isn't anything else to talk about. So I want you to watch the brake. Sorry, I want you to watch the throttle every time the brake is released. So you're already on the throttle. You're dragging throttle into the corner. This is because you're eager. It's because you're impatient to get going out of the corner. But it's counterintuitive. Getting on the throttle in the braking zone doesn't help. Let go of that throttle. Seriously, let go of the throttle. That's a gear shift. But that 5% throttle, that's reducing your rotation while reducing your rotation while braking. And then when you let go of the brake, you want to just coast here for a brief moment. But you're dragging the throttle. You're increasing the speed of the car. Throttle is an accelerator. It accelerates the speed of the car. So don't forget the coaching session, the introductory coaching session that we do. Let go of the brake, look up at the exit, add more steering and coast. Be patient. Wait to get on the throttle. This corner you can get away with it. This corner you don't have to coast. Yeah, so let's look at it there. To be fair, you've gone too far off track. So you do go off track, but watch what you do with the throttle. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. Just look round the corner, let it coast, be patient. You can get on the throttle very early in this corner, but only if you've got enough rotation. again, look at the throttle. Now, again, in this corner, you can get away with it because you want to carry speed through this corner. So you can get away with that there, but that's not why you're doing it. You're doing it just because you're dragging the throttle. Also, don't use third gear in this corner. Just run through this corner in fourth gear, carry the speed. It's got enough downforce. And again, there we go. See, you're just about to get off the brake and you're still on the throttle too early. So separate them. I know this was a race review, and I did say I wouldn't comment too much on driving technique, but again, as there isn't much else to talk about, what this has uncovered, I'm glad you shared this with me, because this might be something you're not doing in time trial. I don't know. We haven't done anything in the way of coaching together for a long time. So you've just been working with, I assume, doing the 3-point program that I gave you, the braking drill, the vision drill, and the replay analysis comparisons. Let me know how you're getting on with that, by the way. And if you need any refreshers on it, because I'm curious with this bad habit that's developed, and that's what it is. It's a bad habit, and if you don't break this bad habit, it's going to stall your progress. So it's simply a matter of just don't touch the throttle until much later in the corner. It could be a rig position issue setup. Could be that your pedals are a little bit too close. Could be your pedals are a bit too low, a bit too high, that kind of thing. Wrong, not enough throw, whatever. On the other hand, it's just a very common issue that we see, and you just need to be consciously lifting your foot off that throttle completely. But yeah, I'm glad I've seen this race because this is, even if you're not doing this in time trial, you're doing it in the race, and that's affecting your race pace. And it creates that. So what this does when you're dragging the throttle like that in the braking zone, you're not getting enough rotation. That's why this happens. I mean, you're very smooth with the throttle and you are feeling the limit of grip. So you've got throttle control. So as soon as you start coasting, you're going to be so much more aggressive on the throttle because you'll be able to feel it. You already are feeling it. That feeling you get when you exit this corner. That feeling you get right about now where you know if you floor it any harder, it's going to spin out. That proves you've got throttle control. That proves you can feel the traction in the rear end. It's not a matter of get the throttle down harder. It's a matter of get more rotation and you'll naturally get the throttle down harder. So yeah, I think this is the first thing we've done in terms of coaching together since... Have you ever done anything? Have you ever returned it for anything? I don't know. I am seeing a couple of things that need to be brushed up on. A couple of bad habits. Don't necessarily need to see you in for a coaching session. What I would suggest is give me a couple of hot lap analysis to do for a couple of weeks. Just one lap for next week, maybe the week after too. Just let me see what you're doing in your hot laps in time trial. It needs to be your best lap. I want to see your best lap. And let me just see what you're doing in time trial, whether we need to whether it's stuff that can be covered purely in a private video like this, or whether I need you back in for a coaching session. Because I know you're pushing hard. I know you're pushing hard to get better. And I know you don't want to bother me or be a burden to me, that if I'm saying that in the right way in terms of taking up my time. But that's what I'm here for. So if students can progress on their own, once they've had the coaching session, then great. But sometimes people need a brush up just on a couple of things. So that's your major bad habit, is not coasting, dragging the throttle in the braking zone. And I think we can cover it in a couple of heart lap analysis for a couple of weeks. Yeah, and there it is again. If you were off the throttle in the braking zone, letting it coast, getting on the throttle later but harder, this doesn't happen. What is he doing in that car? Okay, this is interesting. Just so you know, by the way, these off-meta cars, particularly in Group 2, they can only compete in the hands of an alien. And I'm talking someone better than me. Like, if I took that car around here, I'd be so incredibly slow. That needs a World Tour driver to drive that here competitively with these 16 cars. Oh yeah, backmarkers ghost, don't they? I was like, why can't I click on him? Because he's not in second place. Yeah, backmarkers ghost, which is why you drove through him. Great. I would say solid result. Excellent. Let me know what kind of lobby this was. Was this an A lobby? Because I think we told you to leave the other accounts alone, didn't we? So you're at least racing in A rank. So hopefully this was an A lobby. And if you're winning, getting podiums, top fives in A lobbies, it's not that long before this ends up being an A plus account as well. In terms of race management, it was fine. You know, I don't know what you're dealing with in the way of nerves and pressure, self-imposed expectations, but this is good. This is really good. This proves that you have that A plus pace in you. If you're winning A races, then you have A plus pace, because that's what it becomes. You can't keep winning A races. You will become A plus if you do. So if you are winning A races, you are at A plus level. So in terms of how you manage the race, it was exceptional. Smart decisions, good mental awareness, good mental bandwidth, as far as I can tell, mitigating mistakes so they don't become race ending moments, not fighting people. Yeah, it was a very, very well managed race. And in the end, you pulled away from P2. So great job. I think actually it's the driving technique that needs to be worked on. So normally when I get a race review, it's normally a lot more to talk about in terms of, well, if you had done this, you could have affected a better result. Um, let's look at the moments where you were thinking emotionally rather than pragmatically, um, what pragmatic probabilities. Sorry. Um, there's none of that going on here. Like, in terms of race management, it's great. The biggest thing affecting your race is actually what you're doing with the car. And the biggest thing affecting what you're doing with the car is a lack of coasting. So let's let's solve that. Let's go back to basics and fix that problem. Give me a couple of laps. Get a good lap. Don't give me the lap you do on Monday. Improve it a couple of times. Give me something you do midweek, and let me help you find more time. Help you find a bit more pace. And what I'll do is I'll remind you in those lap analyses of things we went over in the coaching session. I'd also like to know, when you did your coaching, pretty sure I brought this in when you did your coaching. You'll have to tell me. Um, the training program. So it's a braking drill, 10, 15-minute braking drill, 20-minute vision drill, both of those once a week, and analyzing replays, top 10 replays, and comparing to your replay on your two weakest corners. So again, I know you're pushing hard to improve. So without being too sensitive about it, are you doing those? And how are you getting on with them? Do you need me to refresh your memory of what's involved with those two drills and how to do the analysis? So let me know, because I see a lot of potential in your driving, and I'm thinking that it's a usual thing. I see what people are doing, and I don't think they'd be doing that if they were analyzing their two weakest corners. Like, I think you would be aware that you should be coasting if you were doing your weak corner analysis and comparisons, and you would be aware that you're not coasting unless this is only something that's happening in the race because of being under pressure and not in time trial, which is why I'd like to see your hot laps. So yeah, and there was a couple of mistakes there through bad vision, not having your eyes where they need to be. So potentially still need to do the vision drill. The braking itself looks good. The braking itself looked pretty damn good, I will say. So yeah, let me know if you need a refresher on those two drills and how to do the replay analysis and comparison. And let's sort out this bad habit, because that's the biggest thing holding you back. 100%. That is the biggest thing holding you back from improving, making that next step. If you had simply been coasting in this race on at least most corners, the corners where you need to do it, which is most corners, you'd have broken away from these guys and won by a convincing margin. I mean, you already won by a convincing margin, but like even more. And you would see improvement in your lap times. So you got 2:46 zeros on the right. Those would have been, in fact, I would wager, if you were coasting, all three of those laps, 10, 11, and 12, would be in the 45s. And you'd start noticing more consistent 47s in the first stint rather than 48s. So yeah, you would find a lot more pace. On the whole, it's good. It's good progress. It's a great result. Keep it up. Onward and upward. All right, my friend, take it easy. Chat to you soon.